I'm about to pull the factory exhaust here out of my 3rd gen Raptor and swap the factory exhaust for the MAGNAFLOW. Cycle through all of the factory exhaust modes: quiet mode, normal mode, then sport mode, and then to the rowdiest, valves wide open, Baja mode right here. This one is the most aggressive sounding. Not too shabby for a stock exhaust, but there's always room for improvement, so let's get to it. About to go from this clapped out, dirt stained out factory tip to this guy right here. Wow, this is super interesting. So you guys can see this loop going on right here. So there's a pipe coming from the driver's side, and then it meets with the pipe coming from the passenger side. They run right here parallel, and then the one from the passenger side goes over, and then it loops, and then meets with the driver's side pipe again, and then it goes into the massive muffler. Oh my gosh. But it does that to create an equal length of pipe to the driver's side. But anyways, I'm gonna pull it off from right here on back, and yeah, a couple of bolts up top there to loosen up, and then from that point on back, I would assume it's on hangers. Let's unplug the valves here. There's one there, and then one there. We got 3 pipes coming from the muffler. Pretty interesting. We got the X pipe, but 3 pipes going into the X, and then 2 leads out the tip. So kind of crazy of exhaust from factory. There's so much going on with this thing. Buddy, come on, buddy. Playing hardball with me, I see. All right, old muffler is out. Now I'm gonna remove everything from the axle back. Today is a new day, so cold start on a Raptor with no muffler. Let's yank off the factory exhaust tips. Everything from the axle back, it's gotta go too. Now it's time to throw in these new valves into the MAGNAFLOW exhaust system, but I gotta pull off the valve motors from the OEM exhaust to go into that new valve. Boom. Now apparently I gotta plug the valve motor back into the truck and then open the driver door, and that'll reset it to where it needs to be to then switch this over to the MAGNAFLOW. Let me know if something changes. Okay, it has now been reset. All right, now I'm plugging in the other valve motor right now to set the position. Okay, here's the other valve motor and the MAGNAFLOW valve locked in. Nice and easy. Now the motor's engaged with the valve. Throw that in the middle. Okay, now the next step is to choose whether or not we want the extreme delete pipe or the mufflers. There's the muffler right there, but obviously I gotta hear this. So also too, how do you guys like my little workstation? It's the old bed mat, Ford bed mat, the OEM one. All right, boys, it's go time. I'm trying to get it in the hanger right there. Wow, that was awkward. We got it in. So I kept the inlet pipe kind of loose so I can twist it around, and I'll tighten it down once I have everything in place. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and jimmy that in. There we go. Beautiful. It's a little warm today, that's for sure. All right, now everything is installed and good to go from all the way to the axle. That was definitely a good call. Keeping the clamps loose right here that meets the muffler or the muffler delete pipe with the inlet pipe here, because then you can twist it around and make sure it lines up perfectly with the rest of the factory exhaust piping. Tightened down now, I'm good to go. So now it's time to work on everything past the axle, get the tips put on. The fun part is the tips for sure. How beautiful this stuff is right here, dude. Oh my gosh. Compared to that, plug in the valve motors. Can't really see what I'm doing, but going from that right there, all clapped out, look into these right here. Woo! Alright guys, so unfortunately I broke one of the valves, or the actuator for the valve. Exhaust mode selection not available. Active exhaust valve is stuck. Exhaust flow control valve B performance. So yeah, definitely I broke one of the valves. Kind of an L, but it happens. So when I was installing the actuator from the old exhaust onto the new valve, I didn't know exactly how to do it. It's a very simple task, and I just didn't read directions, and I tried to kind of force it on there, but in the process of doing so, I broke the valve motor from the old exhaust that goes onto the new one. So had to go down to the dealership, went down to Santa Margarita Ford, which has a lot of cool stuff on display. They got some aftermarket bumpers right here. There's some stuff from RPG as well. Picked up the new actuator, which has a new part number actually, which they superseded from the old part number to the new one to kind of update the function of the motor. So I got the part there, and now it's time to go back to the house and put it in and hopefully clear these codes and get the valve working again. Nate Cryer. Let's see what we can do. Now it's nice and hot.
Yeah.
Got the exhaust all warmed up for us.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So here's the valve with the broken actuator on top. You guys can see the valve there is super loosey-goosey. Not supposed to have that much play. Go ahead and disengage it from the top plate right there, and there's a problem right there. That was my bad completely. I put it back in there because it just looked cracked, and it looked like that when I put it back in. But obviously when it tried to, operate, it just kind of didn't work. So what I did first was I tried to get this in here, right? Which I did, and then I wasn't able to align these up with the top plate. What I tried to do was go in here first and then back it up enough to get into those grooves and then rotate it clockwise to lock it in. Meanwhile, that broke this right here. So what I didn't realize is what you do is line it up with these into those grooves, right, on the top plate, and then you push down, and then when you turn it clockwise, this will then lock in to that spring action little plate right there with the opening there on the top. With that little hole right there is what this will fall into eventually once you start rotating. So yeah, lesson learned. It's all good. The part was available, wasn't cheap, but they had it in stock. Go ahead and open the door, and they should close. Okay, so one of them closed completely, and this one didn't. So the valve right there on the left side is the valve that I put the new actuator onto that I bought from the dealership just now, that has the superseded part number that replaced the old part number that I had broken. And so as you guys can see, it's not assuming the closed position with the driver door opened up like the passenger side did on the right side there. Therefore, it still wasn't allowing me to use the valve mode. So not knowing what to do in this situation, because I'd already switched the valves around, the motors around, I did everything possible for like a day and a half. MAGNAFLOW was nice enough to put my truck up on the lift and take a look at it and see what's going on, and ultimately finding out that it is the new part number that I bought from Ford that was replacing the old part number. That was the issue. So they had to do some sort of like update to recalibrate it to function properly with my truck. So while they were doing that, I got picked up by Corey. What we're doing today is finishing out the exterior wrap, which is pretty crazy how close of a match the amber titanium is to all the burnt copper. It's right on point.
Yeah, it's money. Ever since I saw your Tundra with that color, like my very first thought was like, that looks exactly like my interior.
Head over to Corey's Instagram and stay posted for the full reveal of his SEMA 2024 build. It's already coming together super well. It's gonna be absolutely epic when it's done. But in the meantime, let's grab me a rental car because MAGNAFLOW is keeping my truck for one more day. So Oh,
Camaro.
they gave me a convertible.
Convertible Camaro, because you're Mark Brenner.
Check this out, ready? Push a button, let's go. Drop that top. Come on, come on. So MAGNAFLOW had to keep my truck for another day to get the valve situation all taken care of, and they comped me a rental car. So as you do, you go drop top Camaro on them. I am not driving a minute with the top dropped in this car, but there's no way. But it is cool though. My first time driving a convertible. All right, I'm dropping off the rental car right now. And to anyone complaining about the legroom in the new Tacomas, you guys clearly have not been in the back of a new Camaro, because it could be worse. All right, back here at MAGNAFLOW. Thank you, MAGNAFLOW, for fixing my valve situation. Now we have all the valve modes, normal, sport, Baja, and quiet, ready to go, dude. Let's go, let's go. Off-road use only. That's where we're at, yep. I already know for an absolute fact you guys are missing out on what this thing truly sounds like in real life. Just, it's not going to happen at all through camera, watching it on your phone, laptop, or whatever. You're missing out on the low, like super deep, really good sound coming out of this exhaust. I can legit, just idling right now, I can feel the exhaust, which is pretty insane. And dude, it's such a good sound. It's in Baja mode right now, and no mufflers are in this thing right now. We could easily pop in the mufflers that came with the exhaust kit. Will I ever do that? Probably not, because the quiet mode does tone it down a lot. You guys seen the whole system down below when I installed it. Everything is just super nice quality, from the powder coat to the clamps to the way they bend the tubing. Everything is just so nice. And what's nice too also is the tips back here are powder coated all the way through the OEM pipes. It was only powder coated to that point right there, and you can see the silver bit. So having it powder coated all the way through is a really nice look. It's pretty impressive like how quiet it is inside of there, considering how loud it is outside, which I didn't even realize until I ran the footage back just now, and I was like, that is a lot louder outside than it is inside of the truck, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, considering where the exhaust tips are pointing, they aren't pointing down or to the side. They're shooting straight back, so most of the sound is going directly this way. But inside, dude, it's actually a trip how much quieter it is in there. I mean, you could be on a straight conference call in Baja mode and straight pipes, and they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. They might know. One thing I was kind of worried about was, will it sound kind of farty? And nah, no farting happening over here whatsoever. Very, very clean sound. We're maxed out at what, 3,000 RPM? 3.8? Gosh, that ain't no fun. Overall, it's a very easy exhaust to install if you guys pay attention to the instructions the way I didn't, because my ego was getting the best of me apparently. But if you guys follow the directions, then probably take you guys a couple hours to maybe half a day. It's a really straightforward thing to install. I just didn't realize when installing the actuator from the OEM to the new exhaust that the way I did it, I didn't do it right, and I broke it. Thank you to MAGNAFLOW for helping me out. I called them a couple times, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now except for wait for an appointment to go to the dealership, which was about 4 days out. and it wasn't even guaranteed they can even do anything about it. They were like, yeah, we can do an update of the ECU to hopefully reflash the computer, and hopefully that'll fix the problem. It was a bunch of hopefulness. They were like, yeah, it's going to be $450 to do a reflash, and I was like, I would like a guarantee that my actuator will function as it needs to be functioning with your updates, which is kind of odd to me because they superseded the part number. What it used to be is now a new part number. Same part, you know, same look, same function, but it's in a different position now. So you'd think it would come with like an update when you buy that part with your VIN number, but it didn't. So anyways, I called it MAGNAFLOW and they were like, yeah, man, that's, you know, terrible situation. So go ahead and bring it down. We'll see what we can do. By the next morning, 9 a.m., the whole thing was figured out. Now we're back in business, full functionality of the exhaust mode. I'll show you guys how easy it is to install the mufflers. All you do is crawl underneath the truck, forward the muffler installation. You just undo these clamps right here. Very easy to unclamp the pipes. You got 2 clamps up front and 2 clamps in the rear right there. And this midsection right here pops right out, and then you throw the mufflers in right where those 2 pipes are, clamp it down again, and that's all there is to it. So it's very easy to bolt in the mufflers. There have definitely been some times in my life where I've lived life on the edge, right? I didn't use a phone case, I didn't wear sunscreen, but yeah, this one's kind of pushing it, dude. I'm not too sure what the reserve tank is on a Raptor, not really trying to find out the hard way either. So here we are at Costco to tank her up. Hopefully you guys got somewhat of an idea of what it sounds like here through the video. I can guarantee you guys, it just doesn't come through on camera properly. You miss a lot of how it really sounds real life through my camera here and out your speakers. It does not compare whatsoever to how it sounds here in real life. You're missing that like super deep portion of it, the deeper sound of it. It's something you definitely miss out on through the video here. So I'm off to Yosemite for the very first time on Monday. I'll be there Monday to Wednesday night, and of course you guys are coming along with me. About time we go on a little vacation, boys. But yeah, man, that'll be nice because it's like 75 degrees in Yosemite right now, and it was like 97 degrees like 10 minutes that way. And now I'm here by the beach. The beach is right beyond those trees right there. That's the ocean, and feels pretty nice right here. So yeah, man, pretty pumped for my very first time out there in Yosemite. But yeah, man, that is pretty much all I have for you guys for today. I'm gonna go home and grab me some food first, go home, call it a night, and then we are off to a little vacation. I'll see you guys soon. Till then, peace.